Hi, welcome back to Your Checkup. We are the patient education podcast where we bring conversations from the doctor's office to your ears. On this podcast, we try to bring medicine closer to its patients. I'm Ed Dulesky, a family medicine resident in the Philadelphia area.
And I'm Nicole Rufo. I'm a nurse.
And we are so excited that you can be here with us again today. So, did you realize that Ali, our intern, eats his dinner in approximately 3 seconds?
Well, yes, I'm his mother. Of course, I know that.
Do you think he tastes the food?
Yeah, it's so tasty that he eats it so fast. He loves when I cook for him.
And by cook, do you mean open the lid, go in, scoop the kibble, and then put it in the bowl?
Yeah, it's that expensive kibble. And then he likes it a little moistened.
He
for
does
some
it.
Cereal.
It seemed like he didn't like cereal until someone came around.
Big cereal guy.
He's a big cereal guy now.
Mm-hmm.
Did he like cereal before me?
No. No, he didn't.
Well, I hope that continues to work out well for him. He has cereal twice a day.
He does.
Actually, he does. He loves
Lucky
cereal.
guy.
Lucky guy. Lots of T words too. We specifically don't say the word TREAT because he'll go nuts and then he'll destroy our entire production.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he's dumb and he can't spell. Just kidding.
He's actually
You're the smartest boy.
biggest, strongest, smartest boy. In terms of internship, though, he still doesn't understand any of the content or topics of interest. But we're working on it.
He'll get there.
He will. So what are we going to talk about today, Nick?
Today we're talking about change behavior. And this is, I guess, specifically going to go into our next episode on obesity, treating your obesity.
Exactly.
Changing.
And several of our other episodes have begun to address common chronic conditions like hypertension. We introduced diabetes, insomnia, or exercise. And all of these things, including several others like alcohol use, tobacco, relationships with food, are all the beginnings of how someone can look at treating these conditions. But how to use your behavior as a treatment requires you to think about change.
So this is not specific to obesity, really surrounding any like lifestyle type change for whatever kind of chronic disease that you may have.
Right. Like you don't just wake up out of bed one morning realizing I'm going to start exercising or I'm going to start eating healthy. It doesn't happen like that. And there's a characteristic, there is a theory. It's called the trans-theoretical model, TTM. Our general hope is that you'll be able to read about this and Google it and spend some time reading it on your own. But we wanted to introduce it to you because it's how we were trained and it's how we understand as the best model for behaviors of change. And so we're going to go through in this shorter episode the different stages of change and see where you fall into it. Because if you're going to start using your lifestyle as a behavior change, as a treatment, then you should be aware of these stages and how things go.
So there are 5 stages and we'll touch on each of them. First is pre-contemplation, then contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance.
And the article that we're reading from today is from the National Library of Medicine. It's one of these Stat Pearl articles. It's literally titled Stages of Change Theory. And so as your source material, you can go ahead and read this afterwards. But we're going to hit the high points for you here. So pre-contemplation, it's the first stage. And it's the stage where there is an unmotivated person who quite literally sees no issue with their behavior. They have no reason that they see that they need to change because they don't think their behavior is a problem. Do you see this a lot?
Mm-hmm. Do you?
Oh my God.
Almost exclusively?
Almost exclusively. Yeah. But actually, I feel like a lot of the time the people that come to the doctor are in a different position. Like they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
But like you'll probably encounter these people in different parts of your life, not necessarily in front of the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I think people at the doctor are actually in a different stage.
Yeah, they might be in the second stage, which is contemplation. And this is when we are now acknowledging or aware of, Eddie, you can't wink at me in the middle of this. Oh my God. We're aware and acknowledging any kind of problem or problematic behavior. So this could be when someone's at the doctor and maybe are told about something that could be a problem.
Yeah. And they're thinking like, maybe my smoking isn't great.
Yeah, maybe I should do something about it.
Yeah. Smoking is the classic example for the people in stages of change.
Mm-hmm.
Usually people in the contemplative stage stay there for about 6 months. So don't be hard on yourself if you're thinking about this for half a year. But once you're starting to think about, the problems that you have and the things you're going to do to go about them, you start preparing to make a change. And so there's actually a whole separate stage called preparation, where the person who is undergoing this stage actually acknowledges that the behavior is problematic and they are committed to making an effort to correct it. But this is an important stage because oftentimes people get excited. Maybe they think that their problem is something they need to fix, and then they jump exactly to the action phase. Mm-hmm. But the preparation stage is important because it's an accumulation of resources. It's research where you're looking at the situation, developing a plan about how you're going to go after, thinking smoking is such a bad habit. I've been reading about it and there are different ways to quit, but I haven't totally quit yet, but I'm smoking less than I was before. What resources can I use to actually go ahead and make this final leap?
And the final leap would be the action stage. What's happening during the action stage?
So during the action stage, the person who's making the change is actually undergoing the behavior that they want to do. So we'll take smoking as the easiest example. When someone is undergoing the action stage, they are actively not smoking. And they are continuing to do that. They're using all of the resources at hand, and they are doing everything they can. It's important to use reinforcement, like short-term positive reinforcement, so like you reward yourself if you continue to not smoke, because it's tough to take something away. Or if you continue to exercise and you're finally doing that 30 minutes 5 times a week that we've talked about in the past, that you reward yourself. That's the action phase, which seemingly dovetails right into the next stage, which is called the maintenance phase. Is there anything special about the maintenance phase?
So the maintenance phase is when you did the action phase, you're doing whatever change that needs to happen. And then maintenance is when you don't have that problematic behavior, for lack of a better term, for 6 months. And then you're just maintaining and you've made the change.
Yeah. And here's the really, 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 really important thing is that we expect people to go back to their old behavior. Mm-hmm. Everyone does. And that's baked into this model. Relapse isn't one of the main stages, but it's baked in there. And it talks about this in this article. For our purposes, and what I hope we do here, is that we normalize that. Because changing a behavior is hard, and it's normal to go back. But you just then have to re-enter the stages of change, and you recycle and go back. This process is not linear, but rather cyclical, going around in a circle. And that's, if you're to look this up on the internet, you're going to find a bunch of circles with the names of the stages in a circle. And it just goes around and around until eventually maybe you get to the termination stage, which is not usually talked about because it's not common, but that's where you get long-term maintenance and elimination of the behavior altogether. The best example of this is seatbelts for people who ride in cars. You immediately get in the car and exclusively put on your seatbelt, no questions asked. That is the termination stage. There's a wishy-washy part when you smoke. There's an old study that they cite from 1990, and they say that 12 months of abstinence for smoking, 43% of people return to smoking. Granted, that is very old data. But what's encouraging is that they said that when people got to the 5-year mark, that they dropped to 7%. At this point, who knows if there's updated information on that?
Everyone was smoking in the 90s.
Right. So maybe that's a bit old, maybe not relevant anymore, but it just goes to show that the longer you have a behavior, the more likely you'll be able to actually keep it going. And so altogether, these stages of change are relevant in a lot of clinical processes or what you're going through as a person when you're trying to change your life and change your behavior. So think about this next time, do a little reading on your own as we continue on this journey. And our next episode will be more about obesity treatments in your lifestyle. So thank you again for coming back today for another episode of Your Checkup. Hopefully today you were able to learn something for yourself, a loved one, or
a problematic neighbor.
Please reach out to us on our fan mail. It can be found in the episode descriptions if you feel so inclined to leave us a donation so we can finally get Nikki a boom arm.
Oh my God.
Her neck is craning down on this thing. I was selfishly took the boom arm and we're still trying to get one for her. So if you want to donate $5, you totally can on the Buy Me a Coffee website. The link is everywhere where you can find us on our podcast and our Instagram. Please email us. But at the end of the day, we're going to head out at this point. Thank you for coming back. Stay healthy, my friends. I'm Ed Dulesky.
I'm Nicole Rufo.
Thank you and goodbye.
Bye.
This information may provide a brief overview of diagnosis, treatment, and medications. It's not exhaustive and is a tool to help you understand potential options about your health. It doesn't cover all details about conditions, treatments, or medications for a specific person. This is not medical advice or an attempt to substitute medical advice. You should contact a healthcare provider for personalized guidance based on your unique circumstances. We explicitly disclaim any liability relating to the information given or its use. This content doesn't endorse any treatments or medications for a specific patient. Always talk to your healthcare provider for a complete information tailored to you. In short, I'm not your doctor.
I am not your nurse.
And make sure you go get your own checkup with your own personal doctor.